Right now, it's my pleasure. Every once in a while, all the statewide organizations' leadership changes. And in the past year, the leadership of the New York State United Teachers changed. I had the pleasure of meeting Melinda at the State Education Department when she was doing a presentation with the governor and the commissioner, and had a great conversation. And one of the things that struck me was when we talked, she said to me, "I love meeting with your superintendents." There is the NYSUT that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, and there's also the NYSUT in Albany that has to deal with statewide issues. And the NYSUT that we deal with is a partner, part of the ECB, the Educational Conference Board. NYSUT is a true partner, and I will say this: we probably agree on somewhere between 95 to 99% of issues, and that's the important thing, that we try to make sure that the issues that we agree on, we work together on. Melinda, she started teaching in Boston Public Schools. She's worked for the New York State Division of Budget, and she's worked for the New York State Assembly, and now she is the president of the New York State United Teachers. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Melinda Person. Melinda.
Good morning. So I'm not used to this sort of disco backdrop, but I could get used to it, guys. Take notes. So this is such a pleasure to be here. Chuck, you're right. I am a huge fan of superintendents. I've been traveling the state over the last 5 months since my election. Oh, hey, Zach. And the superintendents have been so welcoming to me, and I always say it takes a brave superintendent to invite the president of the teachers union to come address the entire staff, and so many of you have done that. So thank you for those invitations. Oh, Marie's here. I see so many friends. I want to start off though, just to acknowledge this morning Charlotte Sina, who is the 9-year-old that is missing since Saturday evening. And just take a moment to offer some prayers for her safe return as a mother of elementary school students who has frequented Moreau State Park. This is really, it's really scary. And so if you could just join me for a minute of silence, or a moment of silence, please. Thank you. So in my travels so far, I have visited, I think, 51 different school districts in the last 5 months, and I've seen districts that are small with graduating classes of 25 students up through New York City schools and Syracuse and Buffalo schools. And one of the things that I've observed is the commonality across our public schools around the state. Everywhere I go, I see public schools that are the center of their communities. They are the place where people come together. They are the place where not only children learn, but families are nourished and cared for as well. And you are the leaders of those schools, those districts, those communities, and play a really important role in building the communities where you live. And I just saw Marie Wiles, where I live in Guilderland, not too far from here. And during really challenging times during the pandemic, as a parent, I would get emails from Marie, and she would talk about safety protocols, supports for families and students. And she provided a level of comfort that, you know what, she had this under control, and she was on top of everything. And that is what you do for communities. You provide that stability and that strength. After George Floyd's murder, Marie sent an email that made me feel like our school district could hold our children in a space that they could navigate the challenges and the divisiveness that we were seeing out in the world and in the community. And you all do that for parents, for students, for community. And in my travels, I have seen some really amazing things as well. So I see Donna. Hey, Donna. I went out to East Syracuse, Manoa, and we were talking about career and technical education and experiential learning, and I met high school kids they had figured out how to use decomposing leaves to heat a greenhouse to actually grow vegetables in upstate New York in the winter, right? Unbelievable stuff that our kids were coming up with. And I've been to White Plains. Is Joe here? White Plains, I visited some classrooms there where the school climate and culture was such that it felt like you were wrapped in a loving embrace when you walked into that school building. I visited a middle school classroom where the kids were learning about social commentary through art, and they're analyzing Banksy, and it was just sixth graders are doing this type of amazing work. And I have been to Coxsackie, Athens, where Randy Squire was doing some amazing stuff in a small school district. He was offering a future-forward education where they had a vision where every student would graduate with college credits, and that they would leave not just college and career ready, but life ready. And it is, when I look across this room, I see not adversaries, but partners, as Chuck said, partners and people who have given their lives to this work just the same way that our members do, given their lives to their communities and to the students that they serve. So I want to say thank you on behalf of our entire membership, our almost 700,000 members. We see you, and we see all that you are doing for our students. And we are working on so many things together. We are working on fixing APPR and returning it to local control. We're going to get it done this year, so don't worry. Minor setback last year. But we're going to get it across the finish line this year. We are pushing back against the overemphasis on high-stakes tests, not only at the state level, but at the national level as well. We believe that we need more teaching, less testing. And we believe that the federal education policy has been going in the wrong direction for many decades. And it's time for a big paradigm shift. Because everyone in our schools, we want to start from a place where we know that everyone is doing the best that they can. The time for shame and blame is over, and it's time to actually provide our schools with the supports that they need to succeed. We're also trying to fix Tier 6. Pension reform, I know it's not the sexiest topic out there. But we know that Tier 6 has made our professions and public service in general less attractive. And people go into public service for many, many reasons, but one of them is the security of a pension and dignity in their retirement. And if we don't fix Tier 6, our ability to recruit the best people into the professions will be hindered. So we know that this is a factor. I've had the unfortunate experience of sometimes I go into a room of teachers and I tell them what Tier 6 means, some of our new teachers, and they immediately, their first reaction, I've gotten tears. What, 63? So sometimes I'm the first one to tell them. And I say, you know what, don't worry, we're gonna fix this. We have some time before you retire. We have some time. And I say, I know we're gonna fix it because, you know what, the legislature is also in Tier 6, many of them now. So they'll fix it before they retire. Don't worry. But fixing Tier 6 is a key priority for us because we know the important role that it has for you in terms of recruiting people into work in your schools. So there are many challenges that are facing us. I don't need to remind you of them. You know about the staffing shortages, you know about student discipline concerns, cell phone, kids with cell phones. My gosh, I have middle school students begging me for their phones, right? There's so many challenges, mental health needs, food insecurity, housing insecurity. The needs that students come to our buildings with are not the same as they were when I started teaching in the 90s. It's a very different world, and it's changed so quickly. But there is one thing that I think is something that we need to be cognizant of together. And that is that public education is under attack. In New York State, it's not necessarily as obvious, but when you look around the country and you see the movement, 4 states this year passed universal voucher programs, right? These new educational savings accounts that are passing in states around the country. Tuition tax credits. There is a big movement to privatize public education and to eliminate us. It's one of the main reasons that they have brought the culture wars into our schools. Their goal here is to increase choice, but what that means is to make money off of our kids. That is what they are up to. And we are going to need all of us that believe in public education, together, we all need to push back and fight against this. Not just here in New York, but at the national level as well. And I don't need to remind this group why public education is so important, but I know that this world, when I look around, is, as someone mentioned already, how we are increasingly divided. Our schools, our state, our nation, but public schools are one of the last places where people still come together. It's where students interact with other students for the first time who have a different faith, different ethnicities, different gender identities or sexual orientations. And it's the place where our schools teach kids about civility, how to be with people who are not like them, how to be with people who have different abilities. I was at an open house in my own school district the other night, and they were talking about Positivity Project, which many of you might use. And they were starting with this foundation that other people matter. And that's what our schools teach. Basic civility, kindness, how to be a member of this pluralistic democracy. And so the work that we do together every day protects that democracy. And I am so excited. We have this campaign that we are running right now, Public Schools Unite Us. And I think we brought magnets for everyone here. Public Schools Unite Us, and did they have you have the image, someone, on this beautiful screen? Maybe not. We have a magnet to share with all of you that says Public Schools Unite Us. This is a campaign that NYSUT is running to remind the general to remind the general public what it is that our public schools do. In a world that's increasingly divided, where our communities are often at each other's throats these days, right? Especially at those school board meetings. My wife's on the school board, so I know how these can go, right? Public schools actually are the antidote to division. They are where we can come together. They are where we can defend the American dream, right? Public education actually gives our democracy a fighting chance. So I want to thank you on behalf of our entire membership for the privilege of working collectively with you and your organization. And I look forward to working with you into the future as we all remind the general public that public schools do unite us. Thank you.